when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the
What's happening, YouTube? It's K-Mega405 live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers, man. And thank you guys so much that's been checking out the GRG podcast. Don't forget to hit that sub button. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate that support. And man, everything else that I do, from the GRG podcast, of course, to the next podcast, to the multiplayer, to BGST, and to my crew, Intro Media Gaming, man. Check all of us out, man, and help support, man, no doubt. So anyway, let's get on to this video. Dan Stapleton. This is a guy that's part of the gaming news. He put it out a tweet a couple of days ago during the reveal of the pre-order for the Xbox X. And of course, a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, a lot of people out here pre-ordered. I know I pre-ordered. I think Tim went all in. I think Tim Dog went all in and is getting like 2 or 3. So shout outs to Tim and his wallet. But regardless of all that, man, like this guy, Dan Stapleton, comes out of nowhere and does a tweet saying that I just pre-ordered the Xbox One X, but I might come to my senses and cancel it. Now look, there's a difference of when you're talking amongst your peers or your friends in a private setting and somebody hacks you, or they, somehow it gets leaked out, and then, you get caught saying something that you may not want to be in public. That's a whole different issue. But this man puts this stuff out in public and then gets bitchy about it because people are coming after him. And there was people that were there was just one troll that kept on just dogging him out. It was hilarious. But there was people that were just asking legitimate questions like, why would you even say that? What is the purpose of even saying anything like that, especially when you're a part of the gaming media? Well, his excuse was saying, I can be objective. That's not being objective. That's just being an ass. Nobody asked you how you felt about it. You just made the tweet on your own. And the person that you're supposed to be talking about every piece of platform, all the platforms, and then yet you go and you just make this random rant for no apparent reason, come to your senses? Look, that was an unnecessary comment. So of course the response that you got was warranted. Then later on during the day, there was a couple of guys that came in. There was another, I guess one of those writers that was from Taku, and he was trying to defend him, things like that. Whatever. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. This is why we always say something about the gaming media and how trash they are. There was no reason to make that point. And you didn't say this about the PlayStation Pro or about the Slim. You didn't say anything. You wasn't being so-called objective then. Only thing that you were doing was just trying to get a rise, to get people to listen to whatever you got to say, or to dog you out, or your name being to get the attention. That's ridiculous. And being biased is not being objective. Being objective is you're going to say something negative about whatever other brand that you do not like or you do love, and making the point and trying to make it as valid as possible. That's what's being objective. Being biased is just going straight out and making the comments that you did. Then what really went left is that these people were getting so annoyed because they kept going after them for saying stupid things. They're going to even dog out Game of Thrones, the 6th episode of this season, which was absolutely epic. What is wrong with you people? Like, I mean, you could tell that there's a lot of issues going on with the gaming media amongst a lot of these people, man. It seems like some of them might be burned out, like you see about Ryan McCaffrey, the way that he kind of just distanced himself away from, listening to people. And I understand that there's people that can just be so objective. They could, they could be so critical about every little thing that if you just say one thing that somebody don't like, then they get pissed off about it. I get that. But to care more about cars and everything else other than what you get paid for, that's when it's time for you to just wrap it up and just say, I'm done. Because it's not benefiting gamers. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't matter if it's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. It's just about just the gaming aspect of it. If you really want to be accurate, then you have to have you got to have 2 feet in. You can't dab the toe and like, okay, I'm gonna say something positive today, and then I'm gonna say 10 things negative about the whole Xbox situation, you know, for the day. That's not how you do it. They're supposed to be positive and negative. And there's no doubt that Xbox has put themselves in a precarious situation with the way that their exclusive lineup looks this year. It looks horrible. It's the worst that we've ever seen the Xbox exclusive lineup look ever. It was horrible. It looks bad. But you know what I'm saying? But there's still some good quality games in there. But yo, when you want to compare it to the competition, there is no competition. PlayStation runs away with it. But there's still good quality games. That's fine. And it's okay to talk about the price point of the Xbox One X if that's what you feel that you need to do. But it's just like what Digital Foundry made an article today talking about the Rise of the Tomb Raider, because there was a lot of buzz about the X version compared to everything else. And of course, Digital Foundry put out a lot of words just to say it looks better than the Pro, but slightly. And if you look at the Pro and you look at the Xbox One X version, there is no comparison. The Xbox One version actually looks better than the PC version, which is absolutely amazing. That tells you that this system is worth the price of its admission. So I think that a lot of people, they want to hear something negative about the Xbox One X. They want to hear something negative about everything. So when they hear about Crackdown, Scalebound, any of these other games that get canceled or delayed or something of that nature, there's something for them to use as like the Xbox division is in trouble. So this so-called insider, I forget that dude's name. I've seen him put stuff. He's been wrong before. But he comes out and says that the Xbox division is cutting costs. You know, they're in trouble. They're hemorrhaging money, things like that. And if you listen to the GRG podcast, I went through the top 10 publishers, and Microsoft was number 1, not by a little, but by a huge margin. The Xbox division alone made $3.3 billion. Made over $3 billion in a quarter of this year, and that was more than what Sony made for the whole fiscal year of 2017, which was $2.6 million. So no, they're not losing any money, they're making money. And let's not forget, people, hardware isn't cheap. You know, to make the Xbox One X was not cheap. To make the S was not cheap. I mean, just ask PlayStation or Sony for what that they had to put and spend on the Slim and the Pro, and also the PlayStation VR. That was the reason why they had the sparse moment. Yeah, they would probably want to just throw out games, but they couldn't because they had to keep within their budget. Again, Killer Phil has done a phenomenal job of turning the Xbox One name around into where it's got some relevance. And for the people that like to bitch, whine, and complain and say, where's the games, wasn't hearing you guys saying that when PlayStation was having all their delays. To make a good, proper game takes time. And yes, they shouldn't be making deadlines. That's a publisher problem, I believe. But the fact of it is that if there is a game that goes over the deadline and that game comes out to be solid, then the delay worked. I mean, The Witcher got delayed. Uncharted 4 got delayed numerous times. Crackdown's getting delayed for the right reasons. It's not getting delayed because they're scared. And besides that, it's also a good move that they put Crackdown, and they need to bring a lot more of these Xbox exclusives towards the first of the year so they can combat against PlayStation. PlayStation was smart about that from the very beginning. So no, if you want a good quality game, it's going to take time. If you want just some random bullshit, then yeah, for all the people that bring out those PlayStation lists, and then those games come out, they don't buy them, they don't support them, they don't talk about them no more, because you know why? Those games were trash in the first place. So that's why I'm saying we need to just be a little bit more relaxed and not complain about every damn thing. You got a backlog, I got a backlog. Let's play some damn games and have a good one. Like to hear your thoughts. Peace.